this traffic jam, dreaming of the green pastures I once ran.
Hello again. Welcome. Sorry about this, but you are stuck in traffic one more time, and we're thankful for it. Today we've got Jamie Atkinson. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you for having me.
She's such a delightful person. We've had a great chance to catch up before Boy Wonder turned the cameras on, and then we have to tell everybody to be quiet because we want to get the story for you, our faithful listeners and readers and watchers. So we're going to start today. Jamie runs the Cindy Platt Boys and Girls Club. And what's your role there?
I'm the CEO.
What does that mean exactly? Other than, obviously, I know what the acronym means. But
Yeah, so that means I get to do everything.
Right. So do you have a preference for mop buckets? Is it like you like the yellow ones or ones with wheels or not with wheels?
Yeah, we like the wheels, especially when there's children involved. There's lots of, questionable things in the floor, stuck on the carpet, on the wall.
So what I hear is you like to run a Boys and Girls Club that has questionable stuff going on.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, this seems like the right
Is that
town.
a good way to start?
Yeah, that seems like this is the right town for that sort of stuff, I guess. So we did our usual background check. The FBI stuff came through swimmingly.
My fingerprints were there.
Well, there was some questions. We checked with the public library. You've got no overdue books. That's always helpful. We have a team round the clock working to vet our guests. Only the best make it through, and so you're here. Welcome.
Yeah.
So if you had been, say, 10 years old,
Yeah.
it is a pretty ring.
Thank you.
Did you ever see yourself doing this?
I did it. I don't even know. I think when I was 10, I wanted to be an archaeologist.
Don't we all?
I guess. Dinosaurs and bones were cool. I do like to watch a lot of Egypt shows now, so that's kind of cool.
Do you watch them with the kids at the club? I mean, are they into that too?
We try not to turn the TVs on.
Okay, do you do excavation? Is there a dig site like in the back behind the...
No, but
because I noticed there's fences and
there's
construction
lots
stuff.
of fences, and we can get to that. We did do an activity one time where we froze plastic dinosaurs inside of a water balloon, and they had to chip it away, and we talked about archaeology and like history, and so we try to do cool things like that to keep them like interested and engaged and like excited about whatever it is, right? Dinosaurs.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Podcast.
Let me give you that. That was a pretty cool idea.
It wasn't my idea.
Okay, but the dig site is because you guys are expanding?
Yeah. So we've been building a place to belong. That's what it's called. So we've been expanding our current facility. We started in August of 2023 with the actual construction. Now, our team's been fundraising for, I guess, going on 4 years now. It's turned into a $10 million project. And our goal at the end of this project is to have the capacity to serve about 25% of school-aged youth in the county. Which
would be what number? 400?
Closer to like 1,000.
1,000.
So there's a little over 3,000 kids that attend public school, but if you look at the census data as a whole, there's a little over 4,000 that are available, right? So they maybe go homeschool, they may be in a private school setting. And so our goal is to have the space and the capacity to have as many opportunities for as many kids as we can.
I don't want to put a pin in the funding thing because I'm new to town. I've only lived here a couple of years, but I went to the party at Parker's house, which seems to open the season, and then Woody's thing at the Mountain Song Festival seems to close the season, as they describe it anyway. I was a volunteer at the Mountain Song. I picked up trash for a couple of days.
Nice.
Really fun.
Yeah.
And it's for the kids, you pick up trash for the kids. That's what you do. So, but it's got to be one of the best supported Boys and Girls Club ever. Because the community really embraces it.
Yeah, we're really fortunate here in Brevard and Transylvania County. I think in Western North Carolina as a whole, I know we're talking about Brevard today, but I think just the people that live and work and play in Western North Carolina are just like some really cool people. And we have people that support us from our families and our caregivers that will make an extra donation so another kid doesn't have to pay, all the way up to some of our large donors that are giving, their lifetime giving's over $1 million. And so to see all of those people like come together and listen to music or eat steak at Parker's house, like that's cool to me. That's really what it's about, is like bringing all these people together for this like thing, right? And who can argue over helping kids?
Well, that's interesting also because when you look at a community, and this podcast is all about what makes Brevard special.
Yeah.
I've lived in lots of markets, and maybe it was because I was not a consumer of the services of the Boys and Girls Club, though I probably should have been as a kid. If you measure a community by whatever metrics, how they look after their children, how they educate their children, how you do those things about how you look after that seems to be pretty high on the pecking order. And this town seems to value that because they embrace it, they support it, and all that sort of stuff. Not on, and again, we obviously need new school buildings. We need all manner of stuff that is tied to politics that sometimes works out, sometimes doesn't.
Right.
This to me is a demonstration. The Boys and Girls Club is a demonstration of how the community puts its arms around the kids and said, all right, we can make this happen. We can't really control the other stuff.
Absolutely.
But we can make this happen. So is that the sense you get?
Absolutely. And I think the cool thing about what we do is we're not under that umbrella of politics, right? Now we are under a larger umbrella, so we're part of Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
Right.
So they sort of, dictate branding and all those fun things. But we are able to, like I mentioned, leverage some really cool people and some really cool ideas. And so we've had some different projects come out of that sort of like collaborative thing that you're talking about. So for example, we have a refrigerator in our lobby. That started with a gift from Maytag, but now it's turned into people make donations to keep our fridge stocked. And parents can come in, get a gallon of milk, get a bell pepper. We actually have a really cool story. So there's a young girl who wasn't super like into trying new food as a kid, right? We're all picky. We like what we
Chicken
like.
fingers.
Dino nuggets, whatever, right? And because of the fridge, she was able to sort of explore some food in there with a staff member. Her mom later told us that they now go grocery shopping together. The girl is super interested in trying new fruits and vegetables, right? And so that to me, that again, going back to that, like, how are we making things interesting and allowing kids to like explore whatever it is, right? But because of the collaborative effort that you're talking about and the funding and the interest of the people in our community to do the things that they love to do, now we have another kid who wants to try a bell pepper or a mango or whatever it is. And I think those are the stories that like really get me. I don't know if you can tell I'm like a little bit excited about that.
You need to calm down.
Yeah, those are the stories that just like really.
We really try to focus on the deadpan delivery here at Stuck in Traffic. We are stuck in traffic. We like deadpan. Anyway, so did you must have had, you seem like a bubbly type and you're bright and all that sort of, you must have had a wonderful growing up experience. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I'm from a small town called Spartanburg, South Carolina.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it.
Yeah.
I grew up there. Most of my family still lives there. And I actually came to Brevard in 2009. I was a volleyball student athlete at the college. So I did my 4 years there. Thought I wanted to be a math teacher. Did not want to be a math teacher. So I started working on a master's in nonprofit management after I graduated.
They have masters in that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
So I did that program while I was working at the college. Had wonderful mentors along the way. And another thing about this place too, and you've probably picked up on this, is like the relationships that you get to form with people in this community, like truly can change your trajectory. And that's what happened with me. I've had some really cool mentors here in Brevard that have really pushed me, put me in positions to like be successful or fail, right? Depending on
you can choose.
It's
up to you, really.
Right. So after I graduated, I decided to stay here, had an opportunity to work at the college, like I said, and I just never left. We have a house now here, and this is our home. I've been here since, basically 2009. So. And
you like it because you're staying.
I love it.
It's interesting. One of the threads that has come out of this process, I feel like Parker, one of the threads that come out of this process is that people live here because they can. And it's, a lot of folks find their way with work or whatever, but a lot of people will do work they never thought they would do because it allows them to stay here. So if you could quantify 3 things here that you really like that keep you here, other than the people, and I want to come back to that one. Yeah. I'm putting a pin in all these things that,
Are you going to remember all these pins?
No, I'm not. And Boy Wonder's going to start shaking his head like, no, you're not talking about that. Anyway, so what are 3 things about this place? And I'm going to go ahead and exclude one. You can't mention Pisgah. You can't mention
the forest.
Yeah, you can't mention public. What are 3 things about Brevard that strike you, that keep you here, that are not in Spartanburg or that are not, and I'm going to exclude family too. You can't say, I don't want to be away. So what are 3 things?
Right now, I would say the first thing that comes to my mind, and I'm not blowing smoke, right? I really enjoy the people that I work with. Huh. And I know you said not to say people, but
no,
it's
family.
It's a specific group of people.
But you like what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And not even just like what I do, but I love, this is my favorite thing, Miles, when a staff member comes to me, we're talking through a situation, and I can see that little like light bulb go off in their head. And then I get to watch them go succeed in whatever they're doing. That's cool. That's
the best part of being a math teacher, though. That's the part that you really attracted it to you, to math teaching or to teaching in general. So if you are doing your job, whatever that job is, especially at management, if you're doing it well, you recognize that part of what you do is teach.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful that you get to see that, and you actually get to teach in an environment that is teaching.
Right.
That is the core mission of the thing, although so is kickball and finger paints and dinosaurs out of ice and bell peppers and refrigerators and all that sort of stuff. But the core mission, I think, is helping kids learn. Yeah. So 2 other things that you really like about Brevard. Do you eat at morning social? Because that's good. The food, the restaurants, all that, is that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have sort of a rotation that we, kind of go around town. And we really do like it when all the tourists leave, because then we don't have to wait anywhere.
Right.
We can just...
I have an interesting theory on that, though. I've now lived here through 2 winters, I guess, but I, too, enjoy it when they are gone. But then I also, because in the summer, when the tourists are all here, I'm patient with the lines.
Right.
But when fall, like this time of year, when fall hits and all that, and everybody starts to recede and go back to Atlanta or Charlotte or Birmingham or wherever they go, I tend to eat out more because I want to make sure
absolutely
that the staff, that everybody gets fed through the winter, and plus I don't like to cook, so it works for me. But that's another sort of it's an elastic membrane of community, I think. And
absolutely.
Do you find that to be the case?
Yeah, and I think that's when like the quote unquote locals, right? That's when we get to hang out.
Yeah.
Right. So that's when you go across the street here to 185 and you see the normal people in there, right? There's nobody extra.
Oh, which normal people? I've been in 185 a whole lot. I've never seen it. I mean, these guys hang out in 185, and they're not normal by any stretch. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, you get to see your neighbors.
Yeah, right.
So how would you define Brevard as a community? How would you, outside of the Boys and Girls Club and all that, but maybe as an extension of that, but how does the community embrace you and your partner and all that sort of stuff? What is it that makes it so special?
Yeah, I think this is going to sound really cheesy, right? But I think it's the fact that like you can go somewhere and people just know who you are. Huh. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter if
that also has a bad side too.
It does, and you can't, you got to remember
that everybody knows
the CEO
everybody.
of the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter though if you go in Cup and Saucer at 9:00 in the morning, or if you are in Jordan Street at 11 o'clock at night or whatever, right? Like
Jordan Street is open at 11 o'clock at night?
I don't know. They used to be. I don't know.
Boy Wonder, did you hear that? That's his favorite place.
Is it?
Go ahead.
Their Pacific Rim wrap used to be my favorite.
Oh.
I think they took it off the menu, but they'll still make it if you ask for it.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
So it's a small town.
Yeah.
Good and bad, but mostly good, I think.
I think so. And I think for me, I get to see parts of the community, and I'll just kind of name it for what it is, that are not just like the normal white people walking around. Like the group of people that I see are historical families that have been here. So they're Appalachian families, they're families of color that have lived typically in the Rosenwald community. And the group of people that I get to see every day, the kids and their families and their caregivers, really, I think are a real representation of what Brevard is, right? It is, at surface value, it does look very white, right? Mm-hmm. But I think when you start to like look down in it and see the actual real people that are still here in the wintertime, right? That group of people is super diverse and just like really beautiful. And it's just like, I love that.
So what's a way that we could foster that? What's a way that we could water and fertilize that sentiment and that community and all that sort of stuff that we're not doing now? I'm assuming, I mean, we can always do better, but how do we do an even better job of bringing those communities into the fold, if that's even an expression? How do we do that? Because the way you're describing it to me is that seems to be the heart of the community.
Yeah.
And it's not tourists from Buckhead.
Right. That's a good question. And I think when we do that thing, however we figure out how to do that thing, people like me and you have to be really careful not to think it's our job or our responsibility to be this white savior thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like we see that a lot. So I don't know that I think about it overtly because I'm just in it all the time. That's just part of, my day. But that's a really, I'm a thinker, Miles. So some of these questions I need to
think on that one.
I need to think on.
Well, the interesting part is, I mean, I mentioned that I used to live in Montgomery, and I also used to be a part of a community in Western New York called Chautauqua.
Okay.
And those communities face the same thing, the same questions. So they wanted to increase diversity in this or diversity in that. And the difficulty is if you're going to manage something, you have to measure it. And if you're going to measure it, you're going to then want to manage it. So the difficulty I have with that is if you make an effort if you say, I'm going to manage, I'm going to, well, now hold on.
Right. Who are you to be doing that?
Right. I remember for the longest time, we didn't have any black members at the Montgomery Country Club, for example. So then we finally had a black member at the Montgomery Country Club. And I remember playing golf with him one day and thinking, I asked, I said, hey, yeah, this is great. Welcome. I'd love to have you and all that sort of stuff. And I said, it's a shame that it took so long for this to happen. And he said, well, you make the assumption that we wanted to join your club.
Right.
Why do you make that assumption?
Right.
So, okay, then.
Absolutely.
And to me, that's an interesting perspective to hold on to because, sure, we'd like to diversify everything and all that, but people are going to people. And we've got to allow people to people the way they want to, mostly. So what are the ways that you could, I don't know, take the model of the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that I try to be really conscious of, and I think I'm this way also because I'm a woman, and it's definitely things are progressing, right? But I'm still a young woman,
right?
For most people's eyes, you can't be what you can't see.
Ooh, unpack that one.
Right. So for me, what that looks like in the club is we really try to make sure that our staff is diverse and reflective of the communities that we're serving.
Right.
Right. Because how powerful is it for a young woman to see a young woman in a leadership position?
Right.
Right. How powerful is it for, someone with, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Name some sort of thing that makes somebody different.
Right.
Right. Purple hair, tattoos, whatever.
Okay.
When our kids, and I think this is true throughout community, right? When our kids see people that look, feel, and act like them in positions of power, I think you automatically open a door for them without even knowing what you're doing, right? Because again, you can't be what you can't see. And I didn't come up with that quote, so I won't take credit.
I didn't come up with this one either. But I'm going to offer an analog to that because, and I'm not religious, but I am a huge fan of the signs that are in front of churches that have the pithy,
right,
whatever.
Right.
And one of my favorites lately is the life you lead is the lesson you teach.
Okay.
So you lead by example, in
Right.
other words, which this church was probably assuming was some sort of biblical lesson, which it's not, but okay. But the beauty of that is it's what you're describing. So if you want your student population or the population you serve to understand or to have that entree, to see the door is open, what better way to do that than the person holding the door open for them looks like them.
Absolutely.
So, and I think I think by and large, the Brevard that I have experienced leads by that example, I think. And it's a small town, and we had a guest the other day that said that part of what was attractive about Brevard was the accountability. And that's a small town thing because, you're the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club, but you're also just a member of the community. And not that you have to be perfect by any stretch, but, if you do bad things to people, I don't believe in karma or anything, but it's the same thing. I mean, whether you call it karma or
Listen, when I was young, my grandmother used to make us recite the golden rule over and over.
Really?
Do you know what the golden rule
Oh, I
is?
do, but please tell us.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Right.
Right? So I think that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's especially palpable, I think, in a small town.
Yeah.
You can get away with it in a Spartanburg because the Spartanburg is big enough, or Atlanta is certainly big enough. Charlotte, these are big enough where you may or may not ever see that person again.
Right.
These folks,
Absolutely.
you see them over and over and over again. They just change clothes.
And if you don't see them, you see their mom or their auntie or their
something
brother.
And they're going to give you the fish eye or the stink eye because, you did something stupid or said something bad about, somebody. So the you are a young woman, attractive, bright. You could be anywhere. A wonderful ring, a wonderful partnership, all this sort of stuff. Great stuff. And you guys stay here.
I knew you were going to ask me some of these questions, so I've been thinking about them.
Okay. Then we've got this thing going here, so I'm not even going to ask the question. Go ahead and answer it, even if I don't ask it.
So I think
she's going to do this.
And I don't know. Let's see if I'm reading your mind here
Okay.
correctly. I don't know if I'm sure this is a common thing on this podcast, right? But there is something about this place that gets into your bones.
Tell me about that.
Like, I don't know if it's something in the air or what they're putting in the water, but there's something that when you come here, whether you're visiting, you go to college, you're renting for a little bit, there's something about this place that gets into your being. And I don't know how to describe it. And maybe somebody else on your podcast has already described it and I don't need to say anything.
Haven't.
But do you feel that way?
I do. I'm still here.
Right.
Yeah.
And why? You can't really say why.
That's why I'm doing this podcast, so maybe somebody else can explain it to me why I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and neither of you are from here.
No. Nope.
But
Spartanburg and Birmingham, actually. You
Right.
mentioned.
So, and you was your she was an athlete too, so you were both drawn to the college.
She came here to work after she went to undergrad in Alabama.
Okay. So, but you came here to college. I'm amazed at the number of people who come here for summer camp.
Right.
When they're 12. And then they, maybe they go somewhere else to college or whatever, but there's always this draw. Why is that?
Does this they must be putting something in the water, Miles.
Is it something when it's imprinted upon you? And again, we are fortunate. We have 1.5 million acres of somebody else's tree farm right out the back door.
Right.
The outdoors is accessible. It's a small town. The blessing and the curse is there's no interstate. You can't get there. You can't get here from anywhere. So if you're coming here, you're coming here, which I think also plays into that. You don't find it accidentally.
I think it's sort of that thing too of so being from upstate South Carolina, we're not super Appalachian, right? But we're a little bit of that.
More of a mill town.
Yeah, definitely mill town. I grew up actually next to a mill. But I think that Brevard has, and this really came out, I think, after the hurricane, and I'm sure that y'all talked about that as well, but I think there's that thing of, there's something about Appalachian people, and it's like Brevard has all the best of those qualities in one little bubble, in my opinion.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So it's that thing of let's take care of each other.
Right.
Let's hold each other accountable in a loving way, right? You even if you disagree, for the most part, I think that there's that thing of we can all agree on these couple of things, and one of those things is being nice to each other for the most part, right? I think that's a goal.
Yep.
But I think if I had to put my finger on it too, it's that Appalachian spirit of camaraderie and just we're in it together through the. I don't know if I can cuss on this podcast or not. Or
fucking A.
Yeah. So we're in it through the shit together out, so I don't know. I like to think that's part of it, right? That sort of spirit of we're just going to do whatever needs to be done kind of thing.
Okay. But you're not suggesting it's perfect.
No.
All right. Because I'm going to give you that opportunity. So I'm going to give you a magic wand.
Okay.
Which, you're a young, attractive woman, so you're a princess by any stretch anyway, so it's wonderful. But I'm going to give you a magic wand.
Okay.
And you are queen for the day.
Uh-oh.
What things would you change? Give me 3 things that again, you don't have to worry about the logistics, how to execute. What are 3 things that you would change that would make this a place an even better place?
Ooh.
You didn't think about that one, did you?
No.
Wait a minute, I'm working my devilish laugh.
Question. Yeah, you need to
There you
practice
go,
that
yeah.
one though. I think number one, and again, because this is my world, right, is I would prefer a place, and not just Brevard, but the county as a whole, where none of our children ever have to question, Miles, if they're going to go home to a place that has power and water.
Yeah. I get that.
Or food.
Yeah.
Or a caring adult in their home, right?
Which is not the case currently.
No.
Yeah.
And again, that is part of that history of being in a rural community. There's certain aspects of that come into play, right? So I think, and I think the other part of that too is, our town is great, but some of our social services could use some bolstering, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard in this town to get any sort of, I'll just say like professional behavioral physical health, right? You have to go to Asheville, you have to go to Hendersonville. I know a lot of our pediatric services are just like swamped and slammed all the time. And so we are trying to make a dent on that. We've hired a full-time mental health professional on our staff. She is available to our kids and our caregivers whenever they need her. So I think number one, sort of bolstering our social services aspect maybe a little bit, nonprofits, but not at duplicating services, right? I think we need to be really conscious of if we're going to add services that we don't replicate.
Stuff's already here.
Right.
Let's improve the stuff that's here instead of,
Correct.
Get rid of it and start over again, but don't have 2 people trying to do the same thing.
Can we combine, collaborate? Can we be more efficient and effective with some of those services, right? Wow, this is a hard question.
Well, now you can always defer to the next visit. You can come back and visit with us again, and you can. I'll give you a laundry list ahead of time, and that way I can just sit here and watch, and you can just answer all the questions.
Is that what people would like to see? I don't think so.
So with a magic wand, would you change anything else that doesn't necessarily involve kids? I understand that's the core of your work, but
yeah. Well, I think the social services aspect in general, across the board, like adult services, and we have some really cool people in this community, and so I'm hopeful that the sort of convening and collaboration that I can see starting to like really happen on like a meaningful level amongst our nonprofits, because we exist to fill those spaces, right? We exist to fill the spaces that the government or whomever, right? They can't or they won't or whatever.
Yeah, capitalism by definition has no conscience. So NGOs and nonprofits and all that, it's human capital. It's social capital. We have to work on those things too.
Right. So, and I think that we have some, like I said, we have some really brilliant people in this community. So maybe one thing I would change is that those people could get the resources that they need to do the work that they need to do.
All in a tax base of 8,000 people.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why it's a magic wand.
Well, there are some funding opportunities. We just need to be really strategic about those funding opportunities.
So one thing I'll ask is, and because we're about to wrap it up,
okay.
But I think nonprofits, this community has a vibrant constituency of nonprofits. So, which is not surprising in Appalachia. I mean, it is in many ways, Appalachia is the land that time forgot and has been that way for 200 years. And sometimes I wonder if Appalachia really wants to come out of that because they resist it. But anyway, we do. So, but Brevard is ripe. I think it'll never grow to be another Asheville because of land restrictions and all that sort of stuff. But we should do a better job, which we have done in the past, and Parker was one who's mentioned all this, but we need to have a group of people from all of these communities that come together and say, all right, what do we want Brevard to be?
Absolutely.
And I think we have forgotten that, but that's an important part for me, is to figure out, all right, if everybody's going to hang around here and we got a bunch of bright people hanging around, let's put them to work.
Absolutely.
And let's figure out how we can pave a path that takes us where we all want to be. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think the cool thing is when you get all those brilliant people in the room, we all have we have shared experiences, but different perspectives on those experiences, right? So Parker, for example, super business minded.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get someone like Aaron from the family place, right? Super people minded, right? And so how can all of those people get in a room like what you're saying and go, okay, these are the 5 things, whatever those things are, social determinants of health, whatever. These are the 5 things that we're going to collectively agree that are important. And then we're all going to do them, from businesses to nonprofits.
Everybody's going to work together
to the
on
county,
these
the
things.
city, all these things. And imagine in 25, 30 years, what actually could be if that was a thing.
That's a magic wand.
Where's my, did you not bring me?
You're waving it now. Jamie, thank you for joining us.
Yep, thank you for having
Thank
me.
you for the work that you do. It makes this place, my kids are grown, but it makes this place a better place for me.
Yeah,
A community that looks after the kids is a better place to live.
absolutely.
So thanks for all you do. I look forward to continuing this conversation, but Boy Wonder says I'm out of time. So thanks for joining us. And all of you out there in Never Neverland, thanks for joining us. We hope you'll get stuck in traffic with us again, because we're always delightful and we have great guests lined up. So thanks to Jamie and thanks to everybody else. Join us again next time.
Oh, I'm stuck here in this traffic jam, dreaming of the green pastures I once ran. The road ahead's a snail's slow dance. This highway's robbed me of my chance.